All right, now to on to hypothesis. Why do we have a hypothesis? Well, we have hypotheses because, by the way, one hypothesis, multiple hypotheses. That's why I keep changing my language. We do them because they give us a testable prediction. We can make a prediction about what we think is going to happen in an experiment, and we write it in a way that we can actually test the specific prediction that we make. Okay, and we put it in a format that we've seen before: if, then, because. If I do something, then I do something else because. Okay, and if we understand variables, this actually becomes very simple. Okay, if, what are we, the scientists, going to do? That's the manipulated variable. Okay, so what comes after the if is a manipulated variable. What am I going to do? Then, what do we, the scientists, think is going to happen? What is the predicted outcome? Okay, what do we predict is going to be the response, or the responding variable? So we have if, our manipulated variable, what are we going to do? Then, our responding variable, what do we predict? And then because, it's just what do we think this? What's our rationale for thinking this? Okay, so if, then, because. So let's take a closer look. Here we go. If, then, because. We're going to use an example. The question is, how does the color of light affect the growth of the plant? Right? We've been talking about this. So using that as an example, we have our, what is our plan? Well, the plan is to manipulate something. And what is it to manipulate? We're going to place 4 different plants under 4 different colored lamps: red, green, violet, and white. If, so let's read it as a statement. If we place 4 different plants under 4 different colored lamps, red, green, violet, and white, then, okay, what's our prediction? Then the plants under the violet light will grow fastest. Okay, it's just a prediction, but grow, right? They're going to grow. That's our responding variable. Because, why do we predict this? Well, violet light possesses more energy than other colors of light. Okay, so the because can be a little, you're not always going to know why, but I want to see your thinking. Why do you think that? Is there any reason that's your prediction? Okay, so if, what is our plan? Then, what is our prediction? Because, why do we predict this? So we're going to use a couple examples that we used earlier. So we're going to write a hypothesis for the if, then, because format for the following 2 questions. What effect does caffeine have on middle school student test scores? So think about it. What could be the hypothesis? If, then, because. Okay? If we give some students caffeine and other students no caffeine, then caffeinated students will score lower on tests because it makes them hyper. Okay, so if my plan, we give some students caffeine, we give others no caffeine. Then, well, what's my prediction? Then caffeinated students will score lower on tests because, well, why do I think this? Caffeine makes them hyper. That's my prediction. Okay, second one, which laundry detergent takes away stains the best? If we use Tide, All, and Purex detergent on a stain, then what's my plan, or my prediction? Tide will work best, so that's my prediction. Tide will work best because it costs more at the store. I don't know if that's true, but that's my explanation. Okay, so hypotheses are pretty simple. If our plan, which is the manipulated variables, then our prediction, which talks about the responding variables. Because, why do we think this? Okay? Pretty simple.